Hello everybody, and welcome to Build-A-Bear Workshop. And by that I mean, I'm gonna teach you how to build this house today. So since the launch of the replica ID system, I realized that, where'd my glasses go? Where's my goddamn glasses? Why is my glasses button not working? Hello? There we go. So I realized that I think syncing builds don't translate to the replica ID system. So I figured I would teach you guys how to build something so you can actually see what it looks like, vaguely get a time lapse of it, but then also be able to build it with me so that you can kind of know how each of the little effects were achieved with commentary instead of just kind of watching and assuming. I get a lot of comments of people being like, is this for EU server? Can somebody make this for Asia server? And I feel heartbroken. I've also seen people comment and say that my time lapses are too fast to understand. They go Sonic speed. And yes, they do. They're at 1,000 times speed because usually I just around and waste my time while I do builds. They're not meant to be that informative. So today is going to be informative. Today I'm going to build this build. I'm gonna teach you how to build this. We've got a nice little sitting area. I will show you a variation in blankies. You could do red blankie, you could do white blankie, you could do blue blankie. You get to pick which blankie. We got a sitting area, we got crystal flies everywhere, we've got some stairs, we've got our little cottage with some ivy on it, bunch of flowers, sitting area, and then we've got this cute little loop around deck. So I'm gonna teach you how to build this. We're gonna walk through it today. I already built this once and destroyed it and then rebuilt it, and it's actually better the second time around. The first build didn't have the deck, so this is what we're gonna be doing. So stay tuned. Hopefully I'm not too annoying and enjoy. So here we have a list of everything that's going to be in the build. I will scroll over for y'all to see. I will also, hopefully, if post me is not too lazy, I will probably put an overlay of all of the names of everything. And also, if you check down in the comments, I will probably put a physical list there that you can copy and paste if you need to search any of these if you don't have the recipes for them or anything. So this is page 1 we're looking at, and then here we've got page 2, and you can probably not see what's behind my yitties. That's what's behind my yitties. Time to destroy this so we can rebuild it, right? Let's do it. Retrieve furnishings and area. First of all, let's go ahead and take out some landforms. Let's go ahead and get our landforms set up just so that they're ready to be used. I know we are going to need 8 of these, so I'm just going to get these laid out. I'm gonna get 4 regular landforms out. Now the list does say that you only need 4 of these. You will technically need 5 because you will need 1 to assist you with the sinking. You might even need more than that. I would likely suggest doing 2 of the larger ones. So make sure that you have these 2 extra ones as well. So these are going to be all the landforms that you're going to need. I like to put my builds in front of where I know Chubby will spawn. If you don't know, every weekend there is an NPC that is like a shop owner NPC that will spawn, and he spawns in specific areas. It's the same area every week. It's different per island, obviously, because it depends on which island he spawns on, but he always will spawn in the same place per island. So on this island, I believe he spawns somewhere around here. So I like to build in front of the area where he spawns, just because I know when people are coming into my teapot on the weekends to buy stuff for like battle pass or just for collecting purposes, I like them to be able to just walk up and buy it. So I build close to Chubby because I'm a good person. I'm going to be building on this side. You can build wherever you want. I just think that this build works best on the edge of a map because it's very well enclosed around the edges. I'm going to start off by taking out my little fish pond, and the fish pond we're going to want to orient a little bit backwards. This area where you actually put the fish in, you're going to want to be facing the back edge of your build so that you can see the waterfall and everything. I'm going to put that about there. So let's go ahead and get our building out. We're going to be using this little Mondstadt cottage. Now, in case you're new to Teapot, first of all, if you try and put this directly on here, it doesn't fit, right? So what you want to do is if you put these all really close to each other, enough to the point where the bounds of the object can sit comfortably on top, like this, then what you can do is you can actually remove everything else from underneath it, and one of these will kind of be like the anchor. So as you can see, it's actually staying on this one, which is perfect. So we're gonna pull this over here. Now, to get the sizing right, I'm gonna take one of these, and you can see that the platform for the fish pond is actually coming through the top of this. So I'm gonna pull this up enough to where the fish pond is covered. So then I'm also going to take my little house, and I'm going to make sure that this is on the same level. If this is not locking, by the way, see how it locks like that? You can turn on and off the locking by toggling this snap height button here. Now, another thing that I did is I wanted to kind of mimic like non-artificial looking cliff area, right? So I did that by taking a bunch of these and kind of layering them together. So I'm gonna redo that right now. One thing you'll have to get good at with Teapot is, as you can see, I move my mouse over this. I want to select this guy here, but it keeps going like, oh, you want to click the fish pond? No, I don't want to click the fish pond. So what you'll have to get used to doing is kind of like zooming in and around and clicking things that you're like, I can't really tell what this is, but maybe it's what I want. Click on it and zoom out. Is this what I wanted? Yes. In a lot of the times that you do this, no, it's not going to be what you want, but that's usually what it comes down to, because there's not the best precision clicking situation with this. I have no idea where this last one goes. We'll figure it out. I'm going to move this a little bit closer in. Give it a tiny bit of a rotate. I think I had it further out in my original build. I'm actually going to push it in a little bit. So let's go ahead and do all of our syncing stuff. If this is your first time syncing something, I promise you, it will not be bad at all. I will walk you through every step of it. It's pretty straightforward. You'll get used to it. Let's go ahead and get out everything that we're going to be syncing today. So for syncing, we're going to be doing a couple of these mature Kuihua trees, 3 in total. We're also going to be syncing 2 of these guys. That's it. I don't know why I was making this such a big deal. Now, in order to sync, another thing that isn't listed on the materials list is going to be what's called an anchor. You will need basically a small furnishing to anchor these. You'll see what I'm talking about in a moment. So just make sure you have, usually I use these, a lot of people use these, but you can use any tiny thing as an anchor. Oh wait, I missed one. We're also going to be syncing the stairs. So let's get the stairs out. How many of these do I need? 21?
21.
As you are getting these stairs set up, all of these are oriented, like when you take one out, they're going to be oriented the same way. So if you want your stairs to have variance, make sure to, rotate a few of them every now and then, just so that they have a different pattern. Here's our stairs base. Now you might be thinking, but Flux, the recipe calls for 21 of those. Some of the other ones are hidden throughout the build holding other stuff. You could probably even float some of the stuff that I have these being used for, so don't worry about those extra ones for right now. First of all, I'm going to make this into a furnishing set real fast. So I'm going to collectively select all of these. Make sure that you have all of them selected, and you can go ahead and hit OK. So now when you want to move them, you can just click one of them, tap Edit Set, and you can move the entirety of them all at the same time. Pretty nice little feature that we've got there. Let's go ahead and sync the stairs first so we can kind of get a gauge for where everything else is going to go, because the stairs are going to kind of merge this area between the pond and the house. Let's go ahead and grab this. We're going to hit Edit Set. We're going to pull it over here temporarily to our working area. Now, like I said before, we're going to need a little anchor. So for us, the anchor is going to be, so like I said, you can use anything for the anchor, but I'm just going to use one of these for my first example. Now, for the stairs specifically, I'm going to put the anchor to the left of them. You can put it wherever you want. I think this will be the easiest. You'll see why in a moment when I talk about it. And we're going to take one of our platforms and we're going to raise it up. Does it matter how much you raise it? Not really. This is at 16.5 for me. It doesn't really matter how high you put it. What matters is the difference in height. So as long as you get the difference in height correct and you kind of pay attention to where things are going, it won't really matter where this base platform is. Now we're also going to tap on our set. We're going to hit Edit Set. And we're going to add in that anchor real fast. Then we're going to hit OK. Select the set again, hit Edit Set. We're going to drag it up here. We want the bottom of our stairs to literally be at the bottom of the floor. But what you'll notice is, let me show you real fast. If I take out one of these and I put it as low as it can possibly go, it doesn't like go underground, right? And we want it to, because we want it to be a perfect segue up. If you look, it's actually like a climbable height. Your character actually has to climb up it. And obviously we don't want that. We want some nice legitimate stairs. So the solution to that is to sync the first part of the set of stairs. So that's why I'm just syncing everything in this situation. Using this platform as the base, think of this platform as ground level. So we're going to move our first stair. Again, use a snap height function to stop it from doing that. We're gonna use a first stair and we're going to put it to about the first step height. And then we're pretty much going to go through all of the rest of the steps and raise them roughly the same amount. I'm not really looking at my heights, but let's see, this is at 17.3 and this is at 16.9, so I'm keeping it about 0.3 to 0.4 distance between each of them. Okay, and this is a little off, obviously, because I didn't make it exact amounts, but I kind of like that because I want it to be a little bit rickety looking. If you want your stairs to be exact, you can, of course, make sure that that deviation per step is the exact same. I didn't do that, obviously. We're going to left click and hit edit set, and then when we drag this back down, you'll see that anything that was underneath ground level, aka these first few stairs, those are now going to be underground. So now we can go ahead and drag this over and see how it's looking. So the height is a little bit off. It looks like this top one needs to be pulled up just a tad. So I am going to correct that really fast. And then if it looks good, I will move everything else from there. Now, the next thing, before we commit to moving the stairs to the exact position that we want them to be in, let's make sure that they're functional. So they're a little bit off. They could be better. I might fix them a little bit, actually. This one in particular bothers me a little bit. A good way to test if your stairs are good or not is to use a small character model like Sayu or like Klee or something, because then you can really make sure that the amount of difference in height is not too much. Yeah, that's about good. And you can use even more of these and do even smaller of a step if you really want your character to be able to run up, but the real test is to use Sayu's E. So that's the real test to make sure stairs are good. Yelan, Sayu, or use a small character model. So now we're going to have to get these stairs to hug the fish pond a little bit. You can adjust the rotation of these. You can't move them, so as you can see, if I start to drag this, it will pop it out of its hole. We don't want that, so all we can do is rotate. So if we do need to move anything, we'll have to take it up and fix it there, but that only applies to this bottom row that we'll probably have to configure up at the top towards the end. But for now, let's just get these knocked out. Okay, so we're at the last tier, and I'm going to go ahead and tap this, hit edit set, and we're going to drag her back up here. And then I'm just going to follow the natural curve that I have going now, just slightly to the right. So I'm going to move all these guys over. So that's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and make sure. Cute. So we've got our stairs now. Let's go ahead and tap confirm. Now you might be wondering, what the hell do I do about this? This looks ugly. We'll remove it later, but we're not going to do that just now. In case we need to make any adjustments, it's kind of nice to be able to move this as one collective group. We're just going to leave that as is for right now and move on to the next thing that we're going to have to sync. So we are going to be syncing these Quihua trees next. Also really fast, I'm going to actually move this to the front. The reason why I didn't have it in the front before is because obviously it might have gotten out of bounds and we wouldn't have been able to position it right. But now that we know where we want it, we can go ahead and put this in the front. You can do that at any point. You can move your anchor whenever you want to. All right, let's go ahead and sync these Quihua trees. So for the Quihua trees, we're going to want to use 2 of our little landforms. For the left side, we're going to use 2 trees. And now if you look, we want it to hug the left side of the house and the stairs. So we're going to kind of put these at a stagger. This one's going to be a little bit turned in, and this one's going to be a little bit turned out maybe. Probably have to adjust, you know, the trees for their foliage. We'll have to see what we're working with. I'm also going to show you, you can use whatever you want as an anchor. So I'm going to use, like, let's see, like, f it, Weeball, let's use a little Klee chair. It doesn't really matter what you use, to be honest. You can use anything. We are going to hit create set, and we're going to get f***ed over by the UI. We're gonna select just the platforms. Don't select the trees. You don't need to select whatever's on top of the platform, like ever. You pretty much don't need to do that, like ever. Just select your anchor and your 2 landforms and hit confirm. And we're going to move this up here. You might have a situation where, here, let me see if I can actually do this. If you have your anchor is like a little bit further apart, you'll notice that you won't be able to put it on top of a platform. So that's why I had this guy out here, because in the situation that it's doing that, all you need to do is extend the upper area that you're using and you'll be able to get it up there. So if you're having that issue, just add another platform for yourself. I ended up, I guess, not needing this one, so I'm gonna get rid of it, but that's how you do that. Let's go ahead and pull this up here. And then again, we are going to treat this larger base platform as floor level. So we're going to sink these down so that the shrubbery part of the tree is going to be, or the foliage shrubbery. Trees are just big bushes, are they not? So we're going to pull these down so that the fluffy part of the tree is at floor level. This tree model has like a little gap here. It looks better on the other side, so I'm actually going to rotate this guy. See, the gap looks a little bit better on this side, in my opinion. In my opinion. I'm going to sink this one a little bit lower. Keep in mind that this part is higher up and this part of the build is lower, so we can actually kind of mimic that a little bit and put this tree down a little bit lower than this one, just to make it look like the shrubbery is mimicking the natural landscape. And then we can go ahead and tap edit set and click it and drag it over here. Part of the reason why it's doing that is because I'm using a clee chair, and that is why I recommend using these, because if it was one of these, it would just go underneath whatever and not make a fuss about it. Me proving my point that like maybe sometimes you shouldn't use whatever anchor you want to use, because as you can see, it doesn't like going underneath everything else, which is fine. We can work with it. Maybe that's a little bit too low, so I am going to bump these back up a tad. Yep, and that looks pretty much like how I had it before. Again, that chair is secretly inside of here. We're gonna leave it there for right now, because in the case that we need to adjust these trees at some point, we want them to be adjustable. So let's go ahead and leave them there. Now we're also going to sink the tree on the right hand side. So again, the same thing, grab the tree, put it on top of one of the small landforms, get an anchor for it. Now that I've proved my point that you can use whatever you want for an anchor, I'm gonna go back to my usual anchors. The reason why I use these, by the way, is because you see how the chair was trying to go up on top of here? It's because these don't necessarily automatically want to go on top of stuff. They're better at going under things, I guess. And so they make good anchors. And also, it's easier to grab them, I feel, because sometimes if you zoom in close, they'll always be super flat on the floor, and it's usually pretty easy to find them and grab them. That chair, I have no idea where that chair is. Oh, there it is. See, that'll probably be harder to grab just by nature of it not being completely flat on the floor and pretty wide so you can see it. So that's why I use these, but you can use anything pretty much. Again, create set, 1, 2, edit set. And we are going to switch vertical. I'm going to rotate this slightly. Now, really fast, I'm going to show you something. Sometimes when you are syncing stuff, you'll notice, let me see if I can mimic this issue. Yeah, sometimes what happens is you'll have an overhang of whatever you're syncing, and when you go to save it, it'll be like invalid furnishing whatever. That basically is just saying that, like, if you look at this from a top view, whatever thing you have sank, part of it underneath the map is out of this bound. So just pull it back in a little bit if you have that happen. It shouldn't be an issue with the tree, because the tree actually does fit on the landform. So as long as the landform is in bounds, which it is, the tree should be fine too. But if you ever experience that, that is why that is happening. So I'm gonna move this over a little bit. There we go. All right, and again, leaving the anchor there for right now. Last thing that we have to sync, this is still sitting out here for some reason. The last thing that we have to sync is these little house things. Now, if you want, I will say there are some other things that would make for cute blankies. If you're looking for cute blankies. This also makes a great blankie. It depends on what colored blankie you want. Basically, the flatter the better. So these are kind of at an angle. So this is actually the superior blankie if you want a good blankie. However, it's red. And I feel like the white, because of the way that bloom and like bright stuff looks in this game, I thought that the blankies fit better for the fairy vibe, but for the sake of just showing you other blankies, I'm gonna do one red blankie, and then let's see, what else do we have? I think I've used this before, but this will have a back panel to it, but I'll show you just for the sake of showing you. You gotta get the blankie variation in. So let's go ahead and pull these guys up here to get ready to be sank. So I'm gonna have to use another platform. Basically, if anything is different heights and you want them to be on the same level when you sink them, you'll have to do separate platforms. But that's okay. This is good practice. I'll just show you what's up. In the case that, here, let me show you really fast. In the case that you were doing it with these guys, which are the same height, obviously, so you don't have to worry about putting them on separate platforms, you'll notice that when you try and put, let's say we want this one here, and we want this one at an off angle. Well, it doesn't go on, so we're gonna use that same technique that we did earlier with the house, which is we'll just put another platform over here, rotate this guy out to where we want him to be, and then we can remove this other one, and it'll work completely fine. The benefit to this too, and the reason why I was telling you you only select the platform when you create a set, is because if you try to create a... Oops. I should probably save also. If you try to create a set with something with the object that is off the edge, when you tell it to confirm, it'll say, hey, no, this shit's up. So that is why you only select the platform. This will be your starting point if you're using the white blankies. If you want to try some different blankies, where the did I take that other one? I'm literally insane. Hang on a second. I'm going to show you what these two look like. Perhaps you will use one or the other. Perhaps you will use the white blankies, but for the sake of y'all just seeing what these look like as blankies, I'm gonna use them both. It's gonna look ugly, but you know, whatever. Whoops, forgot my anchor. I'm actually gonna put the anchor to the right. Create set. Again, only select the landform. Edit set. And treat this as ground level. So we're going to pull this down to where you can only see the blankie. And then pull this one down. Now you're like, oh, I can't tell where this is at. Well, just move it over temporarily. This is already at a pretty good blankie height. I kind of slam dunked that guess, but you can move it over and then just move it back. This one will be more like a, I don't know. It doesn't look as good as a blankie, but you can still use it as a blankie. This one is a fire blankie. Like I said, mine's gonna look up. Yours will look pretty if you use these. If you use two of these, it'll look pretty, but I'm using one and one and it's gonna be ugly, so I'm doing it for you. So we're gonna move this over and we've got our little sitting area. Now you'll notice too, sometimes the blankie will get terminology. Sometimes the blankie will look a little grayed out like this. You can kind of see the floor texture coming through a little bit. It looks a little like transparent or something, and that's because the blankie is just a tad too low. So I am actually going to bring this blankie up just a tiny bit, and then when we pull him back, he should be less transparent. It's a little bit better. You can no longer see the leaf texture. By the way, if you want to move this, say you sync something and you're like, okay, I actually wanted this to be over to the left. Don't just click it, because if you click it and try to drag it, it'll pop it back up. So what you want to do is find your anchor again. So my anchor is this. Oops. This. Edit set. So make sure you only move with the anchor, or else you will pull everything back above ground. And that's everything that needs to be sank now. So that's the hard part. I'm gonna also get rid of this, the other blankies. Now we can begin all of the decorating and stuff. I'm going to move this guy out here so I don't have to look at him for right now. Let's go ahead and start off with all of our flooring stuff. So we're going to use these waiting and meditation stones or whatever the hell they are, and we are just going to put these around. You can kind of take these and put them in a line, and they look cute, right? And you can do kind of a variation like this, where you have them going long ways and then going what am I saying? You can have them going left and right, or you can have them going up and down, right? But this looks a little bit like calculated, which is fine for some builds, but I want it to look a little messy, like I said, because I want it to have this kind of run down, like well lived in cottage vibe, right? So I'm gonna kind of put these at an off angle and then actually slide them kind of into each other so that they look more like broken down cobblestone than an actual like calculated walkway. I don't want it to look calculated. I want it to look to match my brain. That's probably good. I might actually, let's see. I'll do one more over here. And that's pretty much all I want to do. I don't know how many I've used so far, but I know I'm going to need some more up here. So I'm going to try and limit because I know my load will probably be different because this situation here. Let's go ahead and start decorating a tad. Going to take those big flowers first. I know I had a big flower up here. This guy, because mine is a little bit lifted, he doesn't want to go back there. He's uncomfortable back here, right? So one thing that you can do is you can float. There are 2 techniques for floating. If you already know them, then you can skip to the part where you float here, but I'm going to teach you ye old-fashioned way because the new way that is like tried and true is to use a snowman. It's to use this thing, and I'm gonna get this snowman set up so I can show you both ways how to float something. If you want to do snowman method, if you have snowman, make sure that you put the head on him. This shit is so f***ed up. And if you don't have snowman, don't worry about it. I'll show you both ways. So I'm going to show you really fast, just like how floating works in general. So basically what you'll do is you will take any landform. It can be any landform, ideally these, because you can adjust what height you want them to be at. And then you will take any object that is too long of an object to put up there, and you'll put it on top of the platform. What you'll want to do is, obviously, if you move the landform, it moves the object on top with it, right? If you click this item and you scroll, it's kind of hard to get this right. It takes some learning to get used to. There we go. So, sorry that took me so long. You'll want to get it to the point where you can't see the rotational adjustment. You can only see the box. And you will just click underneath it. You'll see it flash red like that and go back to blue, and then you'll just hit confirm, and now you can move the landform and the object will remain levitating. So one thing with the floating technique is that once it is floating, if you try to move it, it will no longer be floating. So you have to know kind of where you want it to be before you float it. That is how that works. Now, that is the traditional method. It's very annoying because you have to be able to get it at a good angle. It's really hard to do low level because it's like almost impossible to get underneath something when it's super close to the ground like that. So that is why the snowman method is now like considered to be the method. The way that you do this one is you put the snowman at a similar height to the object that you want to float, and you'll select the object. It's not snowman. You'll select the object and then you will click it through the snowman's head. And it does the same thing. Somehow, this is some godforsaken hell spawn bull. I don't know who the hell discovered this. I don't know. Whoever figured it out, you're goated, but also you must be in the head. Are you okay? Do you go to therapy? So I'm gonna be using snowman. Actually, I won't use snowman. I'll be a Chad. And I'll do it traditional method just so y'all can see it and see like a little bit more of it if you've never really used it before. So I'm going to put these flowers where I want them. Nope. Me being like, I'm gonna be a Chad and then I can't do it. It's so annoying to do this way, honestly, but there we go. That's how you float. Next, I'm going to decorate the front of the house. And again, you don't have to follow this exactly. I'm just kind of teaching you how to, get the base down. So if you want to decorate the front of your house differently, you go for it, baby girl. You go for it. I am going to, let's see, where the hell are those damn flower boxes? I'm going to put down some flower boxes in the front. These are purchasable, by the way, not craftable. So you can pick these up from Tubby. So you can already tell the build is different than my last one slightly because I think I had 3 flower boxes in the last one. Weirdly enough, that angular flower box, it's so weird to me. Flower box, flower pot, and then it's like, here, it's here. Like, why are these ones here? It makes no sense. Also, I'm going to go ahead and do my little path. I'm gonna do my little pathway now. There we go. Cute. All right, and now I'm going to add some flowers to the front. I'm gonna float this next one. Cute. And now we can go ahead and decorate our lower area. It's like that in my original build. Looks a little stupid looking back on it, but whatever. Now we've got our goofy big tree coming out of the top. I love this new Sumeru tree. He doesn't fit, so guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna do the little landform trick. We're gonna make him fit on there. I'm going to have to float this, but you'll see in a moment an issue that comes up with situations like this. Going to put him at an angle. Now we want to float him, right? So naturally you'll click it, right? Oh, well, he can't fit on this, right? Because we set him up to where he is overhanging on it, even though he's not supposed to. So we can't float unless this is blue. So if you want to float something that is not meant to fit on the tiny platform that you're using, you're going to have to add those landforms back so you can float it while it is on all of those landforms together. He's tilting me! Okay, we've gotten him to a good point. Again, snowman would be the easy method. I'm chatting out. By the way, if you're floating something that's got this like inner box and then the outer box, you're gonna want to click on the inner box. That's the one that you want to click on. There we go. Oh, one last finishing touch. You can add in some little crystal flies to make it look like a real fairy house. See, and this guy's like, I don't want to go up here. I'll show you what to do about that in a second. Or I could put one up here. Cute. Yeah, so what you can do is you can just put it on one of these rocks, and then you can just switch to vertical, turn off snap height, so you can put it just below, and then you can put it where you want it to be. That probably puts our load capacity pretty much at full, so I think I'm just gonna add, like, let's see, do I have room for like maybe a table or something, maybe? Let's see if we can fit a table. Can we fit a table? Yes! So cute! Let's put it right up by the flowers. And then I think I also had, let's see, I think I had some ferns maybe that I forgot to use as well. I might even, let's see. See, now I'm just decorating. I have room for these. I love using these as just like ivy. They make a great ivy. I did this in my Mondstadt mansion build, by the way, back when you couldn't just put stuff inside stuff and have it be okay, and you had to do like the shaking glitch, and then, yeah, it was a pain in the but look at that! So cute. How much more space do we have? Do we have enough to put a bridge? Oh, we did a cute little balcony. How sweet. How do I have all this extra load capacity? It doesn't even make sense. Do I have 500? Let's check. Want to check how you have 500 load? You put one of these bad boys in. Yeah, so I don't have 500. Do I have 300? No. Do I have 200? Yeah, so something around 200. So I have room for like putting something on here. Here's my call. I'm just going to take some extra flowers. This might be kind of hard to float without snowman. This is what I was talking about before, by the way. It's really hard to get stuff that's close to the ground. Haha! I got it. There we have it. That's the end. I'm gonna take this guy. That means we technically could put one more in, because once we get rid of him, it clears up a little bit of space. I think I'm gonna put some more of these flowers here. Honestly, I might be able to get one more if I take you here. Can I add another? No, I see how it is. That's it. We're done. So we've got our cute little build. Look at how beautiful it is with the crystal flies. My Yelan has 2,000 health. She's dying. We've got our nice little blankie sitting area. You can sit down, have a good time. Up. All the flowers look gorgeous. We can run up here. observe the house, but not do anything with it. We can go ahead and put some fishies in. And then we also have this little walking path that I didn't do in the first time that I did this build, but I think it's very cute and it's great for pictures. So yeah, that'll do it. Hopefully you learned something today. I hope I wasn't too chaotic, and I hope I explained just the right amount of things that need to be explained. Shut up, Yelon. You absolute You're ruining my outro. I gotta make this fast before she talks again. Comment down below if you had fun. Bye.